Good evening, guys. This is Ethan back again with you. And tonight we're going to be taking another look at philosophy, 100 essential thinkers. And I think tonight we'll just go through the next philosopher in this book. Last time we finished with Thales, and so we'll move on to the next one. I'm going to go ahead and light my candle here just for a little bit of ambiance. And we can go ahead and get into it. So like I said, last time we finished up with Thales of Miletus, whose kind of the main idea. Trying to look here. I was fairly confident that it had to do with water. Yeah, there it is. Claim that the fundamental nature of the world is water. Yeah. But anyways, kind of the first natural scientist. So, anyway, tonight we're going to be looking at Pythagoras of Samos, which is probably pretty familiar to most people. Pretty much everyone learns the Pythagorean Theorem at some point in their life at school. Anyway. So Pythagoras' main contribution, main idea to philosophy was that the ultimate nature of reality is number. Probably born around the mid-6th century BC, no exact date is known as to when Pythagoras lived, despite his name being familiar to every school child, for Pythagoras' theorem, which states that the square of the hypotenuse of a right-angled triangle is equal to the sum of the squares of the remaining two sides. It is likely that this was known both to the Babylonians, where Pythagoras is thought to have traveled in his youth, and the Egyptians. Pythagoras was a somewhat shadowy figure, and like Socrates after him, wrote nothing himself, preferring to leave his students to document his thoughts. Reputed to be a mystic as well as a thinker, the school he founded would nowadays be thought of as a religious cult that taught many unusual and strange doctrines, including, notoriously, the veneration for and abstinence from the eating of beans. Oh man, I don't think I would have been able to be in Pythagoras' school. I eat black beans like every day, so that would have been a little bit of a problem for me. But Pythagoras also preached reincarnation and then transmigration of souls, and is largely responsible for the modern belief in numerology, later popularized by Nostradamus. It's kind of interesting. It's when you think about hardcore, math and science people, or just people who are very concrete-minded. It's interesting that Pythagoras also had this other side that was very mystic and not exactly concrete, I guess, much more relative, and kind of lacking proof, I guess. I don't know, that's interesting. It's, you don't usually think of the two going hand in hand like that. According to Pythagoras, the ultimate nature of reality is number. This idea developed out of his theory of music, in which he proved that the intervals between musical tones could be expressed as ratios between the first four integers, the numbers 1 to 4. Since part of Pythagoras' religious teaching consisted in the claim that music has a special power over the soul, infused as it is into the very fabric of the universe, the belief that number is the ultimate nature of reality quickly followed. The Pythagoreans went on to venerate certain numerical patterns, especially the so-called tetracties of the decad. The tetracties. I think I'm saying that right. I could be wrong. The tetracties is a diagram that represents the first 4 numbers in a triangle of 10 dots. As you can see here, kind of looks like a triangle that you would use in billiards or pool. I'm not very much of a philosopher, if you couldn't tell. Both the triangle and the number 10, the decad, became objects of worship for the Pythagoreans. In Pythagorean thought, the number 10 is the perfect number because it is made up of the sum of the first 4 integers, as shown in the tetracties. The integers themselves were thought to represent fundamental ideas, the number 1 representing the point, 2 the line, 3 the surface, and 4 the solid. Further, it was thought that there were 10 heavenly bodies, 5 planets, the sun, the moon, the earth, and a mysterious invisible counter-earth, probably invented to make the celestial number up to 10, all revolving around the central fire. Sounds like he's on to dark matter before we knew about it. Not really, but... And he wasn't exactly wrong about revolving around a central fire. I guess when you think about it, the sun and stars in general are basically giant fireballs. But he was wrong about the sun orbiting the central fire. Anyway, after Pythagoras' death, his school splintered into 2 camps. One maintained his religious and mystical teachings, while the other concentrated on his mathematical and scientific insights. The latter continued to believe the nature of the universe must be essentially arithmetical. Units of number, points, were somehow thought to possess spatial dimensions and be the ultimate constituents of objects, an idea later criticized by both Parmenides and Zeno. The Pythagorean cosmogony also encountered grave problems due to one of Pythagoras' own discoveries. For Pythagoras had shown how the ratio of the diagonal through a square to its sides could not be expressed as a whole number. The problem of the incommensurability of the diagonal led to the discovery, or invention, depending on your philosophical point of view, of irrational numbers. I guess that would be, if you've got a square 1 by 1, your diagonal would be square root of 2. So it's your irrational number. Fun fact. Though a major problem for the Pythagorean cosmogony, irrational numbers have proven a major and lasting development in mathematical thinking. I guess that would be tough if you kind of base your entire belief system on, the perfection of numbers and kind of numbers representing objects and, the entirety of reality. I think it would be tough if you realize that, oh wow, numbers, there are numbers out there that aren't perfect. They don't divide perfectly in the other ones. So, I don't know. Just a thought. Anyway, so that's the end of Pythagoras of Samos, one of the pre-Socratics. I forgot to mention that earlier. But so next time, we'll take a look at the Nephanes of Colophon, another one of the pre-Socratics. I think I'm gonna try to make this this reading of this book kind of into a morning habit. I'm a bit of a morning person, so I think it would be good to have that kind of habit in the morning. sit down and just read about one philosopher. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching.